I don't know what it is about casting StarCraft, but I just get so hungry randomly in the middle of it. It's like making words is too hard for me, so my body's like burning infinite energy. Wild.
Well, you know what would help with that? You know what would help with that? Some nice Dare iced coffee.
There it is.
Shout out to Dare for sponsoring these weekly tournaments. Not just these weeklies, but also the Warcraft 3 weeklies and ANZ champs. If it wasn't for Dare iced coffee, we wouldn't have these. So thank you so much.
Chug a dad, give him a big thank you for the 20 cups. And let's hope there's another 20 in the future, because these are good fun. Without further ado, though, we are in Everdream, and it is the last series of the night. It's been a quick night, actually. In the purple, in the bottom left, this is Pezz.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Australian Terran player representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
Now, I gotta say, Pezz has a bit of an edge here because he's chosen the strongest color in the game. Azure's chosen the second strongest color, so, you know, not to take too much away from him, but I feel like he's playing at a slight disadvantage here.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll see if he's able to overcome that disadvantage here. And yeah, I don't know. I imagine Pezz was probably playing out his series, so he didn't get to catch too much of Azure versus Probe. But again, like, Azure has been looking really impressive this week, taking out a player like Probe. Pezz, he's going to be like the other Australian Protoss player to look at now. And to be fair, though, I do think that Pezz and Probe, they have quite different styles to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely not one and the same. Pezz, I think you nailed it earlier. Pezz tends to be a little bit more aggressive. I feel like he's in a lot more places at once, whereas Probe kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna chill and I'll wander out when I feel like it. I think Pezz is like, he's the kind of guy that fights with a knife. He's not afraid. But yeah, I really hope he has some good results in this next season, because I always choose him as like one of my top 4, like every season. And sometimes he gets there, sometimes he doesn't. So, you know, getting to the grand finals in a cup the week of is usually a pretty good start.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was talking about Azure and how, like, I've been so impressed by how strong he's been getting in recent months. When it comes to Pezz, I just love to see him grow throughout the entire year. Like, he's just been getting better and better, getting better results in all these weekly tournaments. And to the point where, I don't know if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, he tweeted saying, like, always second place. Like, he was kind of down on himself. And that week, like, he won a GPO, like, he won a C weekly, and it was like, oh my god, like, he's finally able to do so, taking out like Demi as well in the finals. Yeah, I love the progression that he's had this year. And I'm also looking forward to him in AZ champs. Like, both of these guys, I'm kind of a fan.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a player break the curse. I feel like both of these guys haven't really hit that top tier result yet, but they're always on the cusp of it, so I think that makes it really fun to watch. These Adepts wreaking a little bit of havoc here. This Hellion's actually going to roll on the middle of that map down to Pezz's house. Get away from that guy. And he could actually get in here and maybe get a scout. Stalkers don't fire that fast. Yeah.
Nicely done. He does manage to get the Hellion all the way into the main base. He spots that there is no Stargate. It is a Twilight Council opener for Pezz. And again, this is a little bit more standard. I mean, for me at least, like Blink Stalkers, like they're great for defense against like Banshee openers or Widowmine drops, or any kind of harass. And after that, you can always be pretty aggressive with them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be able to do a little bit with this drop. Pezz usually pays pretty good attention to his mineral lines though, so he's hoping it's not like a game-ending amount of damage. You know, those few times where they just pull the probes the wrong way in a panic and 10 go down and you're like, oh my god, why?
Yeah. I mean, that could happen. Hopefully not. We'll see as Azure he's getting ready for this drop. Pezz, he doesn't have blink on his Sorceress quite yet. He has a couple in his natural, but I don't know if they're quite in position. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good.
It's targeting for like 4 years. Alright, he gets a Stalker. Since he's gonna lose it, you may as well take out a gas unit as well. So better than nothing, and he gets a couple of probes. Obviously looking for those juicier shots, but Mine Opener is pretty nice. He's got that meta back there. Maybe he'll be able to sneak it out at some point without losing it. That would be pretty sweet. Unfortunately, Terran has not mastered the art of recall just yet.
Unfortunately not. I think that comes with the color as well. That's part of that purple advantage that Pezz has.
I think you're right.
Yeah, something I was about to say something a little bit more standard coming out from Pezz. I thought it was gonna go in Disruptors. Nope, he's going for Colossus. Just like Probe did. Not quite going for those drops though. Nothing too crazy like that. So yeah, we're just gonna be heading into a more standard, normal PvT as opposed to whatever it is we had with Probe. Which was entertaining, but yeah. I feel a little bit more at ease here. Like, okay, I kind of know a little bit more about what's going on.
Yeah, I like the choice of the Colossus. Again, defensively, it's good. It's comfy, makes you feel good. It's like a warm hug because if you look at Azure's base, he's got about 800 racks. By that I mean 3. And he's just pumping units. He doesn't have a third CC down yet or anything. So you need to be mindful of the fact that he might push out with usually at least a couple of tanks. And that can be difficult to deal with. So there we go with the third CC from Azure. But you can push out behind that. And he's got Stim finishing up, concussive shells coming in as well. So that'll be finished by the time he heads across the map if he goes there now. So you want to be able to clean that up and not be stuck in a situation where you've got X amount of gateway units, but no real pushing power, I guess, against the sort of entrenched positions that Terran can create for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And I do love this, as we just saw Pezz. He does have an observer outside the main base of Azure, so he does spot all like this massive move out coming from Azure, so he should be able to situate himself quite nicely defensively. He does already have a Colossus. He has plenty of sentries for force fields. I'm actually opting to meet him out in the middle of the map. I don't know if this was necessarily the right call, but okay, no, never mind. Yeah, two Colossus.
Shaves off a lot of that bio, even gets a tank, and now Azure's stuck. Like, he can go home. That's his options.
Yeah. Again, really nicely done from Pezz.
Yeah. Pezz doesn't afraid of anything, man. And on top of that, he's got 3 bases fully saturated, feeling good. He's got charge, +1's finishing up. That second forge is coming. More gateways coming in. I feel like the world's in his hands at the moment. And with all that production coming in Templar Archives, he'll be in a position where he can actually be the one to move forward and be like, well, actually, Azure, I don't think you should have a third base.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's already got extended thermal lance, has a decent amount of Colossus 3 already with this army. I love how he's already working on his Templar archives, so he's going to be diversifying that AoE, getting either Archons or Storm as well. We see he's taking a 4th base. Like he has the freedom to do this because he was able to shut down that massive push earlier by Azure. And yeah, Azure, he's kind of just forced to stay at home for now.
Yeah, he's got to take it easy for a second. And Pezz is actually just going for a 4th base. He's getting DT Shrine. He's getting Warp Prism. Everything's looking up. And this is the point where I think we can see a bit more of that aggression from Pezz come out. He's been defensive because he's like, I don't know, Azure's probably going to push out at some point. But once you add that Warp Prism into the mix, you can start doing your charge lot drops. You start going for your Blink DTs if we get to that point in the late game. Otherwise, maybe a bit of DT harass, otherwise some Archons in the mix, and then that really formidable Protoss army.
Yeah, we do see like Pezz, he's just been focusing on his upgrades and his production, but soon, even though he is looking really far down in the supply, soon he will just boom up. He'll be able to warp in so many more gateway units. But yeah, at the moment, his supply is still quite low, so maybe Azure is able to find an opportunity here to push out, even pulling quite a number of SCVs with this army.
It's not a Terran push if it doesn't bring SCVs, I'll tell you that much.
I haven't seen something like this since like Heart of the Swarm. Oh my god, okay.
On this map, it's actually a pretty strong push because you have this exact position. You've got the grass to help you. You're threatening 2 bases at once. Yeah, the more you move down here, you got a bit more of a choke there as well. You're just sort of putting him in a really awkward position. Now you'll notice he's building a missile turret there. That helps with this. It also helps against the Colossus if they get a little too fresh. So nice clean up there. He attempts to drop in the main at the same time. However, looks like Pezz is fairly well prepared for that one.
Yeah, I love the missile turret, right? Like these DTs, they're being so annoying for now, but now that the missile turret has finished, no more scans going to have to be used to help fortify this position. And yeah, Azure, he's just going to keep pushing on in. Pezz, he's trying to buy as much time as he can, get more AoE. The disruptors are out. Oh god.
Yeah, those SCVs get shredded by the Archon Splash. The Colossi do take a second to target those down as well. But it looks like there's a lot of Protoss left over here. A lot of those mighty units, a few more. Zealot's getting warped in as well. And as good as of a position as that was for Azure, he loses too much. And Pezz will take the first game.
Wow. GG. Yeah, we were talking about like the aggression of Pezz, but really like that entire game, he was just kind of deflecting Azure time and time again. Yeah, like just the amazing disruptor hit towards the end. I don't think we even saw Archons or High Templar being used there, which was a little bit surprising.
No, Archons, yeah.
Okay, Archons, sweet.
Yeah. They took out a lot of the SCVs. It's kind of hard to see when there's like so many lasers going down and they're kind of lost in the general like light show that goes on there. But yeah, he just really good hold there. 4 bases is nothing to scoff at, especially when the Terran is pulling SCVs. It becomes a must-win situation. Alrighty, Pillars of Gold is going to be map number 2. This is an interesting map. I feel like you get a lot of variety of strategies here.
Part of me feels like we may see a proxy on this map. I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely possible. And yeah, Pillars of Gold. It's not quite one of the larger maps, but it's not one of the smaller ones either. It's like in this weird middle ground. Yeah, see what we get here.
Okay. Once again in the purple, a strong Protoss taking a win on map number 1. This is Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Australian Terran player representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
Wondering what the strategy choice is going to be here. The map's kind of weirdly wide open. You have, it doesn't matter which third you take, there's a couple of angles you can get attacked from. There's a high ground to consider there, whole bunch of ramps. I feel like you get some pretty interesting games because of that, because there's just so much room to move and you've got a few options. That said, I've seen a fair few of the Terran 2 bases here as well. I'm not sure if this map is for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, we did see it last time against Probe, right? Azure went for that big 2-base push. And again, just like versus Probe, Azure going for that engineering bay block.
Extremely rude. Very annoying.
The BM being thrown out right now.
I feel like, I mean, probably not for pro gamers, but it's got to be the easiest way to tilt someone, just to block the natural. You're just like, really, bro? That's how we're going to play it?
I guess maybe especially in these other matchups, I feel like it's become like pretty norm in ZVP especially.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's become the norm, but yeah.
But, yeah, I guess in ZVP it makes sense because it was like that next step evolution of the Adept build, because you force them to take the third. Oh no, now it's awkward. There's no creep. Queens, they're not in the right spot. Blah, blah, blah. This is just kind of like being annoying for the sake of it. You know, it throws off your build a little bit because you feel good. You're like, yes, this is exactly the build I want to do. Here's all the timings. And then you just got to tweak it a little bit, which is not ideal. But yeah, we'll see how it goes here. It's going to be a little bit of a later natural. And Azure, I'll be keen to see when he takes his. It looks like once again he is heading straight up into that 1-1-1 before going for the old Expanderino.
And just like against Probe, on this map as well, it's in a little bit of a different location, but we do have that proxy starport. I mean, we did see Probe, who was really, really like active with his initial Stalker, looking for any kind of proxy. This time we'll see if Pezz is able to do as Probe did and spot this before, you know, before it finishes. Which I don't think he will.
You always forget how strong the early gateway units are until you see them take on a few of the Terran units and you're like, oh, that's right, they can kite for ages and they do a fair bit of damage. And it's a nice little poke there from Pezz just to see like kind of what's going on there. And be like, all right, 4 Marines, a Hellion, what else is going on here? Because he will never really go to that spot where the starport is from Azure. Like, what reason do you have to scout there of all places? So he's going to get away with this, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Unlike last time, so we finally get to see Azure, you know, do what he planned. That Liberator will be on the way, looking to disrupt the mining, the economy of Pezz. But Pezz, he did go for that Stargate. He does already have one Phoenix working on another, so he will have at least something available to him to help deal with that Liberator. And I mean, I imagine, you know, alarm bells will be ringing if he gets into the main and spots the production. Like something's a little bit amiss in the main of Azure.
Yep, something is amiss. And he'll sure want that Phoenix to be helping out when that Liberator slides in there. And that's actually nice as well, because if you go to Phoenix to deal with the Liberator, your gateway units are at the front where they need to be for the Hellions, because there's like that double stab, right? You're hoping to distract so that one side gets a lot of damage done, whichever side that may be. But as it stands, really great handling of this harassment in the natural. And in the main, not much left either.
Yeah, once again, really solid defense by Pezz. Azure trying to go for this multi-prong attack, and both ends were just completely shut down. Did lose 3 probes, so, you know, Azure did deal some damage, but nowhere near as much as he would have liked.
Yeah, you need way more for that, considering that you spent gas. You've got Liberator in there. You've got a whole bunch of Hellions. That's all your poking units, all your map control, your harassment. And now this puts him in a position where Pezz can just counterattack. He's only got 4 Stalkers and a Dream with these Phoenixes on top. And unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to gain enough traction to take this out. Look how good these Phoenixes are at just eliminating anything that's remotely dangerous to Pezz.
Oh my god, they lift up the tank, the Cyclone as well. There's nothing left. GG.
Bruh. 2-0 already.
Wow. I just realized, and this is a best of 5, so Pezz, one more win, and he just clean sweeps, takes the entire tournament, the last ESL Dare Open.
Yeah, man. Pezz is about to flex on him. He's even speedy at getting the lobbies.
Yeah, he's just on point. He wants it. He just wants this final Dare championship. And oh, it looks like we are going to be getting set up for the potentially final game here. It's going to be on Ice and Chrome.
That's it, fam. I feel like Pezz is in that killer mode where he's just on a roll. He doesn't want to lose the hype train. He's just going for it, because I feel like he's like gone Super Saiyan a little bit, because he played like a grudge match versus Risky on Thermal stream, and they challenged Special, and he was talking mad crap the whole time. And now he's just savage here in the ESL Cup, going for that win again. And I feel like this is where he plays his best. Okay. We have loaded into Ice and Chrome. Protoss fans rejoice, because this man in the top right is doing pretty well. His name is Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, of Ice and Chrome LE. We have the Australian Terran currently down 0-2 in this best of 5. Can he bring it back? He is representing Team Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
He needs a win here. He is potentially forever the Kong of the ESL Cup.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, unless they bring it back but at least for the first season, it's rough. Like he's made so many deep runs. He's come second so many times, and yeah, I mean, both of these players, right? They both want this. They don't want to be known as the Kong of this tournament series.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I have faith that this won't be the last one. If it is, I'll call the police because that's not okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a nice bragging rights, especially going into tournament weekend to be like, yeah, I won an ESL Cup. What did you do this week, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like, I hope this isn't the last one. Again, like I know Dare, they've it's not just these tournaments, but they're also like investing into ANZ champs as well. I don't necessarily know to what extent, but yeah, like these tournaments, they've been doing fairly well, and like the community really appreciate it as well. So yeah, hopefully we do get a second run of this. And what Azure's doing right now, I was actually about to mention it last game when he went for the NG block. There are a couple of like different ways to be annoying to the Protoss player. One of them is to get a bunker back here, and then you go for the Reaper opener, and then the Reaper gets all the way back there and it denies mining time.
He's trying so hard to RNG the SCV, but it's not working out for him. Nice catch from Pezz. If you can catch it early, you have the best chance of getting rid of it. So, unfortunately for Azure, it's not going to come to fruition there, but really cool idea.
Yeah. Almost got away with it.
Alrighty. Well, things looking pretty normal for Azure back at home. I guess we're just making sure that star pod, it'll actually be in his base, or maybe it'll end up somewhere across the map. But yeah, at the moment, he actually has to deal with his Adept because it delays his CC just a fraction.
Yeah, it's actually dealing a decent amount of damage. It's going to kill... Oh, there we go. The bunker did manage to finish up. So only a single SCV, I believe, went down there. Yeah, really nicely done by Azure. That could have like snowballed like completely if the building SCV was dealt with earlier.
Yeah, that bunker could not have finished fast enough at that point. He was just like, come on! Sick micro moves. And yeah, he's looking good now. That Reaper's healed up. Of course, there's still one Adept out there, but it's not a big deal for Reaper and a couple of Marines. We'll be able to deal with that. The Adept is gonna... Oh, okay. Got a little bit fresh with that Reaper. I was gonna say, it's gonna get out of there. I didn't expect him to quite lose that Reaper. It's a little bit hard to judge sometimes how much range is actually on it when you're trying to pull back like that. But, you know, not too worried.
Yeah, and Pezz actually doing something, you know, a little bit fresh, if you will, here in game number 3. Yeah, something he hasn't done at all this series, going for charge. And Azure just quickly checking his vision. He went into the main base earlier with his Reaper, but yeah, he has not seen the opener, hasn't seen the Twilight Council.
No, he has not. And yeah, he could potentially do some pretty good damage with this. Another initial poke out coming with the first few gateway units now. He's going to meet the Cyclone here, and that's actually nice to know about when you've got a Warp Prism coming, because you don't want to accidentally get that Warp Prism locked on and then lose that. So he's going to warp in a little bit further behind here. And Azure back at home, you know, he's really only got that one Cyclone. He's got a tank now, which will be helpful. Might want to siege that up real quick as Pezz moves forward.
Yeah, he does siege up on the high ground, and Pezz, he's going to have to babysit his Warp Prism a little bit, looking to try and chip away at this bunker, and trying to focus out that Cyclone. If he does, then, yep, there we go. He can warp in with that Warp Prism.
The rough thing with his gateway units is that the siege tank actually contributes to the damage being done. Now, big repairs on this bunker. Pezz is actually struggling to get that down, and he does have to pull one out of there, so really nice hold from Azure. And he's going to live to see another day. Looks like Pezz is not done yet. He's going to do a bigger warp in. He could actually go drop that in the main and then go for another stab towards the natural.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what he wants to do, but Azure already in position with that Cyclone, able to get a lock on that Warp Prism. It does get away though, but it does push Pezz away as well.
Yeah, Pezz, I don't know, I feel like he's kind of stuck in this because he doesn't have a third base yet. It looks like he's thinking about it. His work account sitting at 36 there. So he would ideally get a lot more damage done here. Going for that bunker, and with the siege tank fire, it's actually going to go down. And he should be able to get some SCVs here. A lot of bio left for Azure, but a big warp in, well, a small warp in, I should say, in the main at the same time.
Yeah, but he did. GG. I was gonna say he did get on top of that tank, take it out, and with that warp in, he was able to get on top of the second tank that was in the main base as well. And that was really what Azure was like banking on for that defense. When those fell, then he just really didn't have much left, just Marines to deal with Zealots, with charge lots even.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit of a sudden finish there, I guess. I was looking at the SCVs, I suppose, thinking, oh, he actually has a fair few units left over. But I suppose not as many of those were Marines as I thought they were, because yeah, Pezz with one fell swoop actually bops Azure. Really nicely done.
Yeah, and I love how like even towards the end we were like, I don't know, I feel like he should probably back off and take a third base. Like, I don't know, Pezz. Like, Azure is holding on pretty strong, but Pezz, he was very adamant about this push. He was very dedicated. And yeah, I guess like he knew that he had enough to break Azure. Especially with that War Prism play. I loved how he got on top of those tanks as well. Yeah, just wow, 3-0.
Yeah. Really looking good coming into this weekend then. And the future games that we're going to be seeing over the next few weeks for the EPT region. So really sick win for Pezz. Congratulations to him. Well fought to Azure as well. Short and sweet night tonight.
Yeah. And you know what I think it did kind of come down to that color choice at the end there. That was probably what clutched it out for Pezz. And yeah, just congratulations. He will not be the Kong of this tournament series. It will be Azure.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I think that was a fun one for the last one.
Yeah. I mean, we got to see, a lot of our regulars here. We got to see Pro put on a bit of a show. Same with me and Micah, like coming out with, their own like styles of play. And Azure as well. Like, it was really cool to see everyone perform well, and I'm really looking forward to see at least these two finalists this weekend. Again, like, they've been looking so good throughout this year, and I feel like we've gotten to the point where they can actually take games and take series off of people like Probe and people like Seether. I feel like there was a time, at least a couple of years ago, where that really wasn't happening. Like, Probe and Seether were a lot more dominant, but nowadays it feels like that gap is kind of closing a little.
Yeah, for sure. Both Azure and actually no, I was gonna say both Azure and Pezz. Only Azure is invited from his performance in the last season. Pezz had an uncharacteristically bad group last time. He actually bottomed out, I think, in that one, which was really surprising because he was still looking good there. I guess he just had a bad day, and that happens sometimes, especially in long tournament formats. So glad to see him on fire here and showing a lot of tenacity and ferocity. I think he's being a bit spicy lately, and that's only going to serve him well going into the tournaments.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are also hoping that Pezz does well just to make it to that playoff round for that rematch against Risky, right? Like, it'll be such a shame if they miss each other again, because they miss each other in summer as well. They didn't get to play, so yeah, there's a lot of drama behind that little rivalry, which I'm really looking forward to.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me on. I had a good time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it that you were able to come here for the final ESL Dare Open. Again, like it is the final one. Huge shout out to Dare Iced Coffee. It's again when we first started this, it was kind of surprising to me. Like, like Dare Iced Coffee, they're sponsoring like esports. Okay, I mean, I guess I've seen weirder things, right? Like McDonald's sponsored IEM, right, or ESL Challenger, I think that one year. I don't know what it is about ESL Australia, but they're managing to get like these like really interesting but like really sick partnerships as well. They recently partnered with Menulog as well. It was like, what? Okay, like this makes a lot of sense. Like this is great. Um, yeah, it's cool that they've managed to do that. And I hope that ESL, you know, at least in other parts of the world, look to them because it's something kind of unique to this region.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest within the region for supporting esports in general, but also StarCraft. Um, I mean, I can't really say too much, but from my experience over the years, there's been times when people are actually like begging to sponsor. But you know, it's with other regions and a whole circuit involved, it isn't always possible to accommodate for everyone. So it's cool to always see new sponsors showing up for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It shows again that there's interest in the scene, you know, and that's always good to see like a strong, like healthy or you know working towards a stronger and healthier scene for the ANZ community. Even the sea as well. I don't know if you recall, but when the tournament was first announced, it was only for Australian and New Zealand like citizens and residents. And like after the first week or like before the first week even started, like you know because of the outcry or because of like the like people from the community speaking up, they were able to incorporate Southeast Asia as well, which was really cool. You know, it shows that they're willing to be inclusive and willing to like look at feedback and respond in some way. So, yeah, it's been a really nice 20 weeks, and I hope this isn't the end. You know, I hope we get to see more of this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it seems like a lot, like 20 weeks, but it's also not that much. Like it's just a few months. And we've seen a lot of repeat champions, so perhaps that makes it feel shorter.
Yeah, yeah. As again, like some of the biggest champions here were Seether, Probe, and Demi. I think they each won like like 6, 5, and 4 each. Yeah, they each had like their period of dominances. I say that Seether, it was like every now and then he would just sign up and win the entire thing. Again, I was kind of hoping he would also like show up as well. It's been a while. He's one of those players who every now and then he shows up and it's like, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Are you in form? It's like, hell yeah, and he just like dominates everyone. It's like, oh my god, like where have you been? Yeah, again, like another player to look forward to in DreamHack.
Yeah, no surprises there. They're all really top players, so you kind of expect them to be taking out these cups as well, although it is a chance for sort of everybody to get involved. But yeah, hopefully a good sign of things to come for the upcoming games.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And with that, like, yeah, and thanks to everyone for tuning in. Unfortunately, we won't be back next week with this. It's been fun. It's been a wild ride. And again, like if you're interested in Southeast Asian or Oceanic players or tournaments, this weekend we're gonna have more of that with ANZ champs. The group stage will be, I believe, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days or
Yeah, yeah. Into
yeah.
champs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the like next round of groups, along with some of the other regions, starts in the weeks following that.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're interested, do check out ESL Australia, the Twitch channel. It will be all hosted there, and yeah, it's gonna be great to be back. So it feels like we only just had summer, but we're already here in fall, and yeah, it's gonna be great to see these players once again show off show off their true selves. I guess this is it for them. There's no hiding builds here. It's all for DreamHack and ANZ champs. And yeah, I hope everyone tunes in over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you check that out. It'll be all over Twitter, I'm sure. Not sure what the deal is with B streams this time around, but I think they're trying to cut down on that and have everyone on mainstream, which will be pretty cool and less difficult to find the game. So yeah, hopefully it's a really exciting weekend and following weeks.
Yeah. And with that, thank you everyone for watching. We will be live again, I believe, on Thursday with NA Contender. I'm going to be casting that with one of our other casters, an NA caster called Yoda Slim. So yeah, if you're interested in that, we will be live on Thursday. And with that, I believe we're done for here for now. Zepph, why don't you tell people where we can find more of you?
You can follow me on Twitter at ZephSC2. I try to only tweet about StarCraft. Don't tweet that much. I'm mostly on other channels. I don't actually stream myself, so I'm a bit of a weird one. But yeah, hop on there if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, have you thought about streaming, by the way? Like, just
Not
like
really.
chilling, having fun.
I never used to have the internet for it. And then when I did get internet that could support it, I found I didn't really care. I'm not a good streamer. I don't even know what I'd stream. I mostly just get mad at video games and then I don't want to talk to anyone. So it's not exactly hyper content.
Fair enough, fair enough. And you can find more of me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do usually stream throughout the week. I usually do like behind the scenes streams, whether it's like editing VODs or working on thumbnails or scheduling or something of that nature. So if you're interested in that sort of thing when it comes to the CranKy Ducklings, then you can tune into that. Otherwise, yeah, just follow the CranKy Ducklings here on Twitch. We're live like 6 days a week, every week, with more and more StarCraft. It's going to be 5 days a week now that we don't have Dare. But yeah, if you're interested in SEA/OCE StarCraft or Korean StarCraft, Latin American, NA, we have a little bit for everyone. The only thing we don't have is EU. Unfortunately, it's at an awful time zone for us. So yeah, that's the only thing that we're lacking in. But, do follow that channel, give us a chance if you enjoyed the cast. And yeah, with that, thanks everyone for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to raid another Twitch channel. So yeah, support the scene. It's probably going to be Pezz.